Daniel Jones was as advertised. For those who were aware.
It was better than advertised.
Who were aware of what Daniel Jones was as advertised. You think about his journey, this kid. He was, he didn't really have a lot of recruiting interest coming out of high school. I forget the story, but like someone introduced him to David Cutcliffe, who was head coach at Duke, and he was going to like a couple of different places, and they're like, don't call anybody else. I want this kid. Mm-hmm. And so he obviously comes and to Duke, and he struggles a little bit early because I remember I went down to a Virginia game 2 years ago. He threw like 3 interceptions against Virginia. Like, this kid is not good. And then all of a sudden, he just started to climb under Cutcliffe's tutelage, and draft day comes. He gets drafted by the New York Giants. He gets booed. Comes to New York, goes to a Yankees game, gets booed. Mm-hmm. The only thing people can think about is, you should have taken Dwayne Haskins. You should have taken a quarterback the year before. Like, all of this.
Josh Allen, the defensive player.
Yes, you're
right. A
lot
of people wanted.
Instead, instead of at number 6, take
Danny Jones.
Get Dan Jones.
You got your star.
Very quickly, in the preseason, you see, man, did he just complete like 85% of his passes? Did he just complete like 92% of his passes in that preseason game? Yeah, it's just a preseason. We'll see what happens. He is unflappable, BT. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, the most interesting thing, and I knew this already because we met him last year when he was here in studio last summer, before the a year before the draft. He's unflappable. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting in this production meeting, and I swear I'm talking to Eli. Like, the mannerisms are the same.
Yeah.
The way the cadence is the same. Like, the way his mind functions. Like, you can hear him thinking or see him thinking about the question to say the right thing. It's exactly like Eli. And I described him as Eli 2.0. By that, I mean Eli, but better. Mm-hmm. He's athletic. We saw that with the 2 rushing touchdowns, including the game winner.
He's bigger.
He's stronger. He throws a good ball. A lot of people didn't think he had a good arm. He's running left, throwing across his body the wrong way. And
that one play.
It's unbelievable.
When he flung it 40 yards downfield.
Exactly.
When he stepped left in the pocket.
Right.
That was incredible.
It was incredible. So he was as advertised. And then most importantly, he's got this energy that lifts you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's partly youth, but it's also partly him. He's a galvanizing player, even though he's not a rah-rah player.
Yeah, because Eli didn't have that energy, that force field around him. Even when he was young and, 22, 23, you have the youthful spirit. It didn't emit like it does for Daniel Jones. Now, listen, let's not go nuts. It's one game. But in terms of the skill set and the little subtleties, again, you watch the game. I know the Bucs aren't incredibly good, but Todd Bowles is a good coordinator who's going to make life tough for young quarterbacks. And the touchdown to Ingram, I had a little fun with my, with my the little things on the phone.
Yeah.
We could blow things up and put the arrows and become a coach again. And it's a little subtle thing, but the touchdown to Ingram, I know Ingram had to turn on the burners. Yeah, I know Ingram had to get a block downfield, otherwise not getting in the end zone. But if that ball and it's just a small thing, and it wasn't an 80-yard rope or a 60-yard rope like Mahomes,
nope.
But it was a little thing where if that ball is an inch behind him, he can't keep moving forward. He can't keep taking the angle. He's got to decelerate. Forget about the block downfield. It might not matter.
It
might not matter.
You're right. Maybe it's an incompletion.
Little thing.
Maybe it's an incompletion.
Could be.
Or maybe it's just,
I think he probably catches the ball at 7 or 8 yards. Boom, that's it.
It's a 10-yard gain as opposed to a 75-yard touchdown that changed the momentum of the game. Giants go down 28-10. Honestly, being there you're thinking, okay, this great debut for Daniel Jones. Maybe we'll learn something in the second half, but this game is over. I just felt like it was over. The momentum was nowhere near for the New York Giants, especially because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had scored on almost every single drive in the first half. Mike Evans went bonkers, had 146 yards and 3 touchdowns and a half.
I know.
It was unbelievable how well the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were doing, but credit to the Giants defense. They locked it up in the second half, and I guess more importantly, they came right out of half and exploded. It's what you haven't seen from the New York Giants in years, it feels like.
Yeah.
An explosive play, a game-changing play. Saquon gives that to you as well. But I mean, before Saquon, I got to think back like Victor Cruz.
Well, Odell Beckham Jr. for sure. OBJ.
And Victor Cruz were the only ones that had done that in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just exciting for Giants fans, and there's energy right now with Giants fans.
And first of all, thank God Saquon's okay. I mean, that looked very ominous there. I didn't know. I thought initially it was the knee. Obviously, it's his ankle. If you missed it, he is 4 to 8 weeks, and who knows his healing recuperative powers. We haven't had to see that yet as a pro. I mean, that could have gone either.
He could have easily broken his ankle.
Or his knee could have exploded.
True.
I mean, there was some stress on the knee at that point, too. But it as bad as this is, for Saquon, or it could have been for Saquon, I don't know that it's it's going to sound odd. I don't know that it's the worst thing, silver lining here. The worst thing that he's going to miss some time, thank God he's not really seriously hurt, because now it forces Daniel Jones to do things that maybe Saquon could have bailed him out of a little bit. See what you have in Goldman. You play the Redskins at home this week. We'll see what the Redskins have tonight, Monday night against Chicago's defense. We'll get into that. Obviously, Trubisky, he's got to start making some plays. A lot of pressure on him as the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. But the Giants season completely shifts. The way you feel about Pat Shurmur completely changes. I mean, everything about the Giants feels different. It feels positive, it feels hopeful, and it feels sustainable.
And that's why Pat Shurmur had to make this change. And again, this wasn't about Eli. This was more about Daniel Jones.
Well, it was about Eli's limitations.
Well, in a sense, but Pat Shurmur came here, and he said this in the production meeting. He was hired knowing that this was going to happen. Didn't know who it was. Didn't know it was going to be Daniel Jones for Eli Manning. Didn't know who it was. Mm-hmm. But when he was hired, he knew that it was going to happen at some point. And he informed us by saying something that you don't think of coaches as thinking about, but they do. He said, you see all of these young players around the league making things happen, right? Whether it's Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, even Kyler Murray to an extent. You see these young players making things happen.
Allen.
And Kyle Allen, well, that was before. We didn't know. This was in the production meeting before the game. But he's like, we see all these young quarterbacks making things happen. Mm-hmm. They wanted a taste of that.
Yeah.
And it was the right time to make the move, obviously. Now, could Eli have won that game? Sure. But Daniel Jones.
He wouldn't have won that game.
Daniel Jones changes the way that this offense is called.
Yep.
It changes what defenses have to respect. And most importantly, it gives Pat Shurmur a chance to open up his playbook to what I think he was hired to do. When Case Keenum was the quarterback at the Minnesota Vikings, they did a lot of things where they moved him out of the pocket. He had a good run game. He made smart decisions. It's what you're seeing with this Giants offense. It's exciting now.
I said to I think, did I say it to Sam? Who did I say it to? I said it to Disa. Who did I say it to earlier about the history of the Giants? Was it Mike? About the Giants quarterback, New York football history in terms of quarterbacks, right? Phil Simms was hurt early. Mm-hmm. Really the Jets have had a litany of failures. And Sam Darnold's first game outside of the pick six, the first throw, was actually pretty good in Detroit. They put up almost 40 points, and they won the game at Ford Field Monday night last season. But if you look at, and Namath, I don't even know what he did his first game, there aren't many great, awe-inspiring quarterback debuts. Eli was incredibly pedestrian. Eli wasn't very good at all.
It took him 7 games to win his first game.
That's true. But I'm even independent of wins and losses. Yeah. I mean, just wow, look at I'll tell you, an odd one is probably Browning Nagel in 1992 for the Jets, put up 300 yards against the Falcons and didn't muster much up. The New York quarterback history is lean. And, there's going to be obstacles this year. Eventually, he's going to face the Eagles, and the Eagles will be healthy. He's going to have to play some good teams on the road. Tampa, obviously, it was on the road, but it's a relatively, maybe yesterday was different because of Rondé, but the Tampa home field advantage is relatively benign historically, at least the llast 5, 6, 7 years. But he's going to get challenged.
He is going to get challenged. And in defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they played a great game. Jameis Winston made one mistake. They turned it back around and turned Daniel Jones over. That's a strip fumble. But defensively, the Buccaneers have played great all season. Daniel Jones got a little bit the best of them. Offensively, it was probably one of the best games that the Buccaneers have played. They scored 32 points or 31 points. And if their kicker could make extra points and ultimately a field goal, they have an inspiring win at home. Instead, it goes the other way. It goes back to your point at the beginning of the year, how kickers often determine the outcomes of games, and it's just frustrating as hell. A lot of criticisms being handed to Bruce Arians because they took a penalty.
Yep.
And then
to move
kneeled,
it back.
Took a penalty to move the ball back and then kneeled to move it back even farther, and he missed the kick. Matt Gay missed the kick by a foot. And if he's 7 yards closer, it probably sneaks inside the upright.